What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about how wide receivers can get more play time and stand out to their coaches. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you guys would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this off season, we are going to be traveling out to 14 more states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camp. So next up on our camp tour, we'll be coming out to Orlando, Florida. That camp is completely sold out, but we will be coming out to Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles, California for the remainder of the year. So check out that very first link in the description below. We would love to have you out to one of our off-season camps. Let's get started with this video. So first thing you got to make sure that we are doing to get more play time as a wide receiver is you got to make big plays. That's the name of the game as a wide receiver, is you have to make big plays. So what kind of big plays would a coach be looking for? A college coach, a high school coach, hell, even a youth coach. And that's usually plays downfield. Can you separate? Can you create separation from a DB? Can you run a double move? Can you make that explosive play downfield? So this is going to be a sluggo route here from A.J. Brown on Trayvon Diggs, and he's able to get Diggs to crash down and bite. You do not get a DB to crash down and bite this hard if you do not have some explosiveness to your route. You have to be an explosive route runner. You have to showcase explosive plays on your highlight tape, right? If you're a high school guy and maybe you're trying to get more play time. You're a young guy, freshman, sophomore. You're trying to stand out to a coach, trying to get on the field. You have to understand that in scout team, in practice, you have to do these specific things. A coach has to be able to rely on you to make those explosive plays. That's how you get in the rotation, and that's how you get the ball. That's how you get more targets. So when you guys are running a double move, this goes for anything, right? A sluggo, an out and up, a post corner, anything. That first move that you do, the three most important things is your body language, your speed, and your stride. It is not your eyes, because as you can see when he breaks to the slant, Diggs ain't looking at his eyes. He's trying to jump this thing because he feels A.J. Brown gets some speed to the slant. He commits his hips and shoulders because that is where a DB is watching when it is man coverage, and he's keeping the same type of stride. If you guys can do those three things, that is what will get a DB to crash. That is what will get a DB to crash if you're breaking on an out route. You have to commit your hips and shoulders to the out. You got to run full stride. You got to run full speed. Those three things will help you have an explosive break. Now, does this only apply for a double move? No, this applies for every single route. If you guys are running a 15-yard comeback downfield, all the way up to 15 yards, your hips and shoulders got to self-fade. Your eyes got to be forward. You got to be running in full stride. You got to be running in full speed. So when you put the brakes on, there's some explosion to it, because that's the only way you could get in and out of that break. That speed leading into the break is what will create explosion. So let's watch this again from A.J. Brown. Again, fellas, if you guys want to be a starting wide receiver, you guys want to get more play time, you have to make these types of plays. You have to make these big plays downfield, run these explosive routes, because that is what will stand out. Now, a second thing that you guys have to get down is chemistry with your quarterback. If you guys are in the offseason right now, which I'm assuming everybody is, and you're not working out with your quarterback maybe at the very least once a week, you're doing something wrong. Because quarterbacks always want to throw. If they don't want to throw, they're not cut out to be a quarterback, if I'm just being honest. They should always want to throw, always get work in with wide receivers. That's just the nature of the position. So if you're not reaching out to your quarterback and being like, hey, man, let's go get some work in, or hey, are you throwing this week? Can we get some time in? To build chemistry, especially like, let's say you're a freshman or sophomore again, and the quarterback's a little bit older than you. He's already got friends. He's already got receivers in his class. He's a junior, maybe going to be a senior. You should be constantly hitting him up. Hey, let's go work out. Hey, let's get some work in. Hey, let's do this. Even if it's just throwing for 30 minutes after lifting or after a speed workout, whatever it is, that's building chemistry to help you make plays like this on the practice field, because chemistry is a real thing. So let's watch CeeDee Lamb run this route. He's running like a goal line fade, gives a little stutter step, and that ball is thrown. Easy money for a touchdown. Now, a lot of you might think, well, coach, I can't do this type of route where I'm running a fade and I give a stutter and go. And if it's not a design stutter and go, I can't give a tempo change. They call this a tempo change on a route, right? Where you run the route full speed, you change up your speed, and then you accelerate. Because my coach will get pissed. My quarterback doesn't know if I'm going to do that move. He's going to overthrow me, etc. Fellas, this is from chemistry between CeeDee Lamb and Dak. They know this. Dak knows that CeeDee Lamb is going to do this type of move because they've worked it, because they've talked about it, because they've brainstormed it together. It is not because CeeDee Lamb just decided to go out and run this route. Because if Dak thought he was just running a fade, this would be overthrown. This is why a lot of times guys, they're quick to blame the quarterback. Like, oh, quarterback overthrew him on that. That was a great route. Maybe he didn't know that wide receiver was going to do that move because there wasn't chemistry there. They didn't know. They weren't on the same page. He did something different. Fellas, you got to build chemistry with your quarterback so you can make plays like this. Because plays like this, everybody was talking about this route. CeeDee Lamb hit him with a stutter and touchdown. Easy money. But they don't see the groundwork. They don't see the pre-work that goes into that chemistry building with your QB. So you should be getting out there every single week, at least once a week with your quarterback, running routes, getting familiar with how he throws the ball, pick his brain. How do you like me to run this route? How fast do you want me to get in and out of this? Is it cool if I try to use this move on this route? So when you guys get into a game, he's got confidence in you. If he doesn't have confidence in you, you're not going to see the field. And he's not going to give you any targets. Because to be able to stand out to a coach, you need targets. They need to throw you the ball. So in 7-on-7 and 1-on-1s, your quarterback's got to trust you, man. And he will not trust you if he is not confident that you can catch the ball, run a good route, and is on the same page as you. I know when I played quarterback, I only threw to the people that I liked and that I trusted. There are people that are some of my best friends, but they never wanted to work. They never came out and worked out. And then some guys that I barely really even knew on a personal level like that, but they were always at the field with me. They were always running routes. And those are the guys that I threw to in a game, man. Those are the guys that got 20, 25 touchdowns a year because those are the guys that I could rely on. Not my friends. I'm not looking for friends out there. I'm looking for guys to get the job done. And that's what your mindset should be as a wide receiver. How can I come out and get some working with my quarterback? That is the most important thing. Let's play this again, full speed one more time. Great job by Lamb giving that tempo change and then winning over the top. Okay, so now this is a clip here from George Pickens. Now, this is something that when you do get a target from the quarterback, when you do get a reception, what can you do to make sure that you stay on the field? And that is yards after the catch, being able to break tackles, yards after contact. So let's watch George Pickens here. He puts the brakes on the stop route, makes a great catch, puts the brakes on the sideline, breaks a tackle, and gets maybe about an extra 8 yards on this. So this is something, again, like I said, these are those explosive plays. Look what he does. He puts the brakes on a route. He catches the ball. It's a bullet pass. He makes a catch. And then he's able to put the brakes on stop, make a DB miss, stiff arm, and get upfield. Now, again, is this something that you can teach? I think there are elements of this that you can teach. I think there are elements that you can't teach. Now, what are some parts that you can teach? I think it's the change of direction part, right? Like, so you see how he's able to put the brakes on here. He catches this pass. He bursts upfield and he snap. He puts the brakes on. What does that look a lot like? That looks a lot like when you drop your hips at the top of the route. So route running, fellas, working on your routes, working on different drills that emphasize cutting, a speed cut, you dropping your hips, all of those things can translate to this. So that's why it's so important to work on your route running. So many times wide receivers get caught up in, oh, coach, I got to get bigger this offseason. I got to get faster. And that's all they do. And it's like, guys, you cannot neglect the field work. You cannot neglect the stuff that's going to actually make the gym work pay off. You know what I mean? You guys are in the gym, you're doing all this explosive movement, you're doing power cleans, jump squats, box jumps, but it ain't going to matter if you don't have the form to do it on the field. If you've never applied yourself on the field, you've never repped out the different movements that are required to be a successful receiver, you're not going to do it. You could be the most explosive guy in the world. There are plenty of guys who run track who can't play football because they've never repped those types of movements. They've never ran a post corner. They've never ran a comeback. And it's going to take them a while to do it. They're explosive, but they've never done it. You have to combine the two things together. So being able to work on your route running helps you with this. Now, breaking tackles, throwing a stiff arm, that's a strength element. That's something I feel that you work on in the gym. You strengthen your legs in the gym. You work on some explosion. You work on just different ball carrier drills when you guys get pads on in the offseason. That helps with all of this, breaking tackles. But fellas, putting the brakes on, change of direction, all it is route running. And that's something you have to emphasize. Because trust me, fellas, when I coached receivers at a high school program, the guys who I wanted on the field were the big play guys. And usually the big play guys were guys who could catch a screen and take it 80 yards. Those are the guys I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's not going to happen every time. But I'm looking for those guys who could break the play wide open. That's who I wanted to start. I didn't want the guy who was just going to be just a regular guy. Catch the ball, go get me 6 yards. I want a playmaker. That's what stands out to me as a coach, and that's what's going to stand out to plenty of coaches across the country. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Pickens catching this pass, then being able to put the brakes on, make a couple guys miss, and get some extra yards after the catch. Okay, so now, next example I want to talk about here is if you were on the undersized side of things, if you were on the shorter side of things, slower side of things, maybe you're just an average build guy. The main thing that's going to get you on the field is being reliable with your hands. I cannot stress it enough. Listen, if I got a guy who can run a 4.3 40-yard dash, but he catches the ball 25% of the time. That means you throw him 10 passes, he's catching 2, maybe 3. And then a guy who catches everything thrown his way, but he's slow. I want the guy who catches everything, but he's slow. That means like if he's throwing a jump ball, he's going to catch it. He's throwing a ball in traffic, 2 guys on him, he's going to catch it. He's more reliable, and I want reliability as a wide receiver, especially at the high school level, especially at the youth level. Because so many times you get the best athletes on the field, they play wide receiver, but they can't catch. They can't separate. They can't run routes. They're fast. They're good athletes, but that don't matter at a certain point. You got to finish the play. So let's watch what this wide receiver does here. He runs a route. He's running a fade ball, good release, gets over the top. This ball fades him outside, and he's able to make this catch. These are the catches that they want you to make. Can you make those catches downfield? Can you make those awkward over-the-shoulder catches? Can you catch the ball if it's thrown low? Can you catch a back shoulder pass? All of those things will get you on the field as a wide receiver. Now, main thing when you're catching a pass, mechanically, you got to take a photo of the ball. Now, remember, I was talking about, hey, you want to go out and catch with your quarterbacks. You want to go out and do work, build chemistry with him. You're out there in T-shirt and shorts, no defense, no pass rush. This is another thing that you could focus on, taking a photo of the ball with your eyes. Your eyes are a camera. Every time it hits your hands, you're taking a photo of the ball. You're looking it all the way in. So when you get onto that field and you do get an opportunity with the ball thrown to you, all you can worry about is just your football IQ, knowing how to run routes, knowing what look the defense is in. You don't got to worry about the little details like catching the ball, running a great route, because you've done the pre-work. You've done the chemistry work with your quarterback. You know he's going to give you an opportunity. You've done the pre-work, looking the ball in, taking that photo. It's all relative, fellas. There's an art to it all. But to stand out on the field, you have to emphasize these things. If you don't, you're not going to be able to stand out, especially if you are an underclassman, undersized, or just flat out slow. Let's play this again full speed one more time. So to be the most reliable guy on the field, fellas, to get the most play time, you got to have great hands. That is the number one thing you need. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, we are coming out to 15 different states this offseason for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. Already did our camp in San Francisco. We appreciate everybody who came out. Next up is Orlando, Florida. That camp is completely sold out. And then we're going to be coming out to these next 13 states throughout the year. So check out that very first link below if you're interested, you guys. I'll see you next time.